effective ways to do this is by asking some thoughtful questions here. Okay, so asking questions shows curiosity, your preparation, and your genuine interest. Okay, it is also, it basically shifts the dynamics from one side interrogation to a very professional dialogue that leaves a very strong impression on the interviewer, right? So you should always ask some types of questions during your interviews to make yourself, get remembered for a very, very long duration. Okay. Now the question is why you should ask questions during your interview. So first is, of course, it demonstrates the interest and enthusiasm. Okay, asking questions proves that you are not there just to get a job, but rather you are genuinely curious about the role and the company and the culture as such. Okay, and employers, they interpret good questions as a sign of motivation and passion within the candidate. Okay, it also shows when you ask questions, it also shows your preparation and your professionalism. Thoughtful questions, they indicate that you have reached the company and you have basically have researched the company and are proactive. It signals seriousness and commitment to the opportunity. And when you ask questions, it helps the employers to evaluate you in a much better, sense. So interviews are a chance to decide if the company's values, leaderships, and work culture align with your expectations. This we just discussed, right? So asking about team culture, growth opportunities, and maybe you can discuss about some challenges also. So it helps you assess whether you will thrive there or not. Because see what happens, suppose for example you joined that organization and after joining, yes, the work is okay, you are very well in that job or that responsibility, but the working environment is not good, or maybe it is not good for you. Okay, so it is hampering your mental state. So that time, if you ask questions beforehand, you will get an idea about how the work culture of the organization is. Okay. It also helps us to clarify the role expectations as well. So many job descriptions are very, very vague. Most of them are very vague. So asking questions gives you a clarity about your daily responsibilities, your success metrics, and your growth paths. Okay, this prevents misunderstandings later, and it ensures you know exactly what to expect rather from the responsibility, from the role, from the culture and the company. If you're asking good questions, so not just any question, you have to ask good questions. It highlights your strategic thinking. So when you ask insightful, forward-looking questions, like about any future project, okay, or some industry challenges, you show that you think beyond the role and you care about the bigger picture as such. Okay, and of course, if you ask good questions, it will have a strong final impression. So we discussed about the first impression, that is through our body language, and questions help you to, to put a seal on the on your final impression as such. So the questions you ask at the end often become the interviewer's last memory of you. Okay, smart questions can elevate you above other candidates who simply answered passively and they just went out. Okay, but if you ask questions, so you will always get an opportunity where the interviewer asks you, so do you have any questions for us? So many a times, even I was like that in the beginning of my career. I was like, no questions, but later on I got to know the importance of asking questions. Okay. So, I'll give you some facts about it. So, according to Glassdoor survey, 9 out of 10 hiring managers say they are more impressed by candidates who ask meaningful questions. And in India alone, according to, I think, a shine.com survey, candidate survey, showed that at least 72% of the recruiters expect at least 2 to 3 questions from the candidates by the end of the interview. Okay, so this is very, very important when you're working on what type of questions you need to ask and what questions you need to ask. Okay, so here are some smart questions. So first, let us work on the universal questions so that any candidate can ask. Okay, regardless of your experience. So first is role clarity and expectations. First category is role clarity and expectations. So what does success looks like in this role during, say, or during the first 6 months? Okay, or you can ask, what are the immediate priorities you would like me to focus on if I get selected? Then you can ask about, team collaboration. There you can say something like, can you tell me more about the team I will be working with? Okay, how does this department or this team interact with other parts of the company? Okay, if you're thinking about growth and learning opportunities in the organization, then of course you can ask, say, something like, what learning and development opportunities does the company provide for my type of roles and responsibilities? Okay, or you can ask, how do you support employees in achieving long-term career goals? Then you can talk about the company's vision and the culture. So what are the company's goals for the next 2 to 3 years? Okay, and how does this role contribute to individual success, employee success? Okay, or you can ask something like, how would you describe the work culture here? Okay, and you can talk about feedback and performance also. So here you can ask something, say, how is performance measured and reviewed in this role? Okay, or what qualities do your most successful employees share? Okay, so you can ask such type of questions when you are, thinking of working, or rather, when you're trying to create a very good long-lasting impression for your interviewer. Okay, so some questions for the freshers. If you're a fresher, something like, what kind of training and or mentorship programs are available for new hires like me? Or you can ask something like, how does the company encourage continuous learning for entry level employees? All right. Then you can ask, if you are an experienced professional, then you can ask, say, are there opportunities to take on leadership or cross-functional projects? You can ask something like that. Or how do you see this position for which you're applying? So how do you see this position evolving in the next 2 to 3 years? Okay. So let us work on some tips. So asking questions in an interview is not just about filling the silence in the end. It's about demonstrating your curiosity, your strategic thinking, and alignment with the role and the company. Okay, the right question basically can leave a lasting and positive impression, while if you by chance, if you're choosing a poor question, okay, or poorly timed question also, you may appear a bit of self-centered or underprepared. Okay, so let us work on some tips here. So first is, do your homework beforehand. This is very important. Okay, so research the company's website, their mission, recent news, competitors, and even check their LinkedIn pages, okay, of the employees as well. Okay, so this allows you to ask some informed questions. Then prioritize value-centered questions. So avoid any self-focused questions about, say, pay, perk, or promotions in the first round itself. Don't ask such questions. Okay, instead, focus on role clarity, contribution growth, and company goals. Okay, There is one rule that I can share here with you is 80-20 rule. Okay, so listen actively during the interview. That is your 80%. Okay, and then ask a follow-up question 20% of the time. So build questions based on what the interviewer just said. So that shows that you are very attentive and you have actually listened everything. Active listener. Okay. Ask open-ended questions. Avoid yes or no questions. They limit conversation. Okay. Use open-ended framing to encourage discussion and insight. Even the interviewer needs to speak and you need to reply to that. Okay, so like you can, there's a question that you can ask, say, do you provide training? Yes or no? That is a wrong question. Here, what you can do, you can ask question like, what kind of training and development opportunities do employees usually receive here? Okay, now you will get a detailed answer. Okay, tailor your questions to the role and level. So freshers should ask about trainings, mentorship, and learning. Experienced professionals should ask about strategy, leadership, or maybe long-term vision. Okay, this shows maturity and your role awareness. Okay, and one very important point here, be mindful of the timing. Save your questions for the end unless the interviewer invites you to ask during the conversation. Okay, asking too early may interrupt the flow of your interview. Okay, and asking at the end shows engagement until the last moment. Okay, don't ask more than 5 questions. 3 is ideal. Okay, you can 3 to 5 is what we always advise when you are trying to ask questions. Too many questions may seem overwhelming, or it might show that you are unprepared, like you didn't research beforehand. Okay, prepare 5 questions, but only you can try to ask only 2 to 3 questions, which are more relevant to the conversation at that time. Okay, use positive framing. Phrase questions in a way that reflects curiosity, not criticism. So, for example, you can ask, if you ask something like this, why is the attrition rate so high here? This is very, very negative. Okay, instead, why do you think employees, or say, what do you think the employees enjoy most about working here? And what challenges do they face? So it shows that you are a curious person. It shows that you are thinking strategically. Okay, your questions show alignment with the company's goals. Questions that connect your contribution to the company's objectives, they stand out. Okay, and one very important last, always close with future focused question and with a forward looking engaging question that shows enthusiasm. Okay, for example, you can ask, what are the next steps in the hiring process? How can I be best prepared for them? You can of course ask for that. Okay, so that is very, very important when you are working on your questions, to to work on some do's and don'ts and what type of tips and what type of questions you need to work on. Okay, now one very common questions, interview questions that they can that you can ask, or rather the employer can ask you, okay, is to tell me something about yourself, walk me through your resume, what are your weaknesses, what are you interested in this role. Now here also, what such questions are there, you will of course answer those questions, and now there will be some reply, or some they will again ask you some questions based on the reply that you give. So there will be a conversation. Always be very, very clear about what type of questions they are asking, and accordingly you can build your questions as well. Okay, here they can ask you questions like, what motivates you to do your best work? Now here, when you answer this, And it by the end, if by chance you get the answer, you get the time, you get the opportunity, ask about, so how can I make, or how can I motivate myself, or how employees motivate themselves to work for these and these challenges. Okay, so these are very important when you ask, when the questions are asked by the interviewers. You can pick up points from there, and you can make your own questions during the interviews also. Okay, now we need to work on say some questions that you need to work on, and which you need to avoid. Okay, now questions about your salary and perks. It is okay, you should ask. Okay, but not too early during the interview. Like, how much will I get paid? How many leaves will I get per year? Do you give yearly bonuses? Okay, why avoid them? Talking about your compensation too early makes you appear more money minded, money focused instead of value focused. Okay, salary discussions are best kept for later stages, or even when the employer brings it up. Okay, you can ask it at the end, or only when the employer asks you. Next, questions to avoid are, questions that show lack of research. So, for example, what does your company do? Who are your clients? Do you have any competitors? So, this shows poor preparation. Such basic information can be found on the company's website also, their social media platforms. Okay, interviewers expect candidates to do their homework before they come for the interview. Okay, or here sometimes what happens, the candidates, they try to ask some personal or inappropriate questions. Are you married? Do employees date each other here? Okay, what's your salary? These are very unprofessional, irrelevant, and can damage your credibility instantly. It will not even take a second for the interviewer to reject you for all the upcoming interviews. Okay, they can even blacklist you from the company's pool of candidates, prospects, basically. Okay, then questions about your promotions are also. Don't ask them about, about your promotions very soon in the interview. First, see where do you stand? How soon can I get promoted? When can I expect a raise? So it may seem like you are more interested in climbing the ladder than doing well in the role. Okay, instead ask about growth opportunities in a constructive way. So for example, what does career progression usually look like for someone in this role? Okay. Then there are some very critical negative questions, like what do so many people say why do so many people leave this company? Or say, you can say, I have read bad reviews about your company on XYZ website. Is that true? Okay, or you can say, is the workload really as stressful as people say? Such questions put interviewers on the defensive and paint you as a negative candidate. Okay, a better approach is to ask positively framed questions, basically here. So you can ask something like, what do employees, or say, yeah, what do employees enjoy most about working here? And what are some challenges they face? Okay. Then some questions like, which are like self-serving questions. So can I work from home every Friday? Do I have to work overtime? Can I leave early if I finish my work? Okay. These questions make you appear more and more focused on your personal convenience rather than contributing to the organization. Okay. Then there are some obvious answers to the questions like, is this a paid job? Or say, what is your company's name again? How to pronounce your company's name? Will I need to come to office every day? Okay, they show carelessness and lack of attention to detail on your part. Okay. Or sometimes the candidate becomes too smart, too overconfident, and they ask questions like, do you think that I am the best candidate you have interviewed? Okay, such questions are also candidates, they become overconfident and they talk about such questions, they ask such questions. Or when will you offer me, when will you make me an offer? Okay, so these questions may come across as arrogant or pushy, which will leave a negative final impression. Okay, so there was a survey by, I think, Career Builder. They found that around 32% of the employers reject candidates because of asking inappropriate or self-centered questions. Candidates, you might be an amazing candidate, you might have everything, but the questions that you ask will make you in the list or not. That is all depends on the questions that you are asking. Okay, now when we talk about personalized questions, it is a great way to work on your conversation. Okay, when you tailor your questions to the company, the role, or even the interviewer's perspective, you stand out as a thoughtful and engaged employee or candidate. Okay, personalization shows that you are not just seeking a job, but this job at this company with this team is what you always wanted. Okay, so build on what the interviewer said. That is what I was telling you before also. Listen very actively to what the interviewers share or what the interviewer is asking you. Okay, and then it proves that you are being attentive and you're curious about the real business priorities here. Okay, it is very important to work on your JD. Nowadays, companies, yes, their JDs can be a bit vague also, but there are companies who are coming up with a very detailed JD as well. Okay, they highlight the specific responsibilities that are mentioned in the post, in the job post. Okay, and frame your questions around them. It shows that you have studied for the role carefully and you're eager to understand the expectations of the company. Okay, connect to the company's current events. So research the company's website, news articles, LinkedIn, or press releases. They all are there in the on the website itself. Okay, this demonstrates research, awareness, and long-term thinking. Okay, next is relate to your own experience. Bring in your background and ask how it can be applied. So, for example, you can say, in my last role, I worked on automating report systems or reporting systems. So, does this team have any automation initiatives I could contribute to? So, now you will understand the working scenario. What all projects are they working on? So links your skills directly to the company's needs is something that you are open to work for the organization or eagerly waiting for the role. Okay. Then you can, of course, tailor some questions to the interviewer's role also. So suppose, for example, if you're talking to HR, focus on the culture and career growth. Okay. If you're talking to the hiring manager, that is the HOD, then focus on the team challenges and the expectations. Okay, so makes this type of questions, they makes the conversation relevant to the person's expertise and their perspective. Okay, You can sometimes ask questions that are future focused also. So about upcoming challenges or goals rather than just the present scenario. Okay, so it shows that your strategic and long-term thinking capabilities. Okay. Then your questions should focus on, rather the way that you ask, it should show your enthusiasm and your curiosity. Keep your tone curious and not interrogative. Okay, that should show on your face also, your facial expressions, that you are very curious. You want to know about the company and you're very enthusiastic also. Okay. So this will get you answers, but it will also leave a very, very positive impression. Okay. Many freshers, they ask lots of generic questions. So recruiters or hiring managers, they prefer candidates who ask what, some researched or the questions that they have listened to the interviewer during the interview. Ask some research questions rather than only generic. Okay, you can ask generic question, but make it more and more personalized questions to the company, to the role, to the growth opportunities. Okay, so that you can, you can be in the mind of the hiring manager for a longer time. So personalizing your questions is not just about showing that you are the right candidate. Okay. Basically, it is for you also to see if you are going to fit in the organization or not. Okay. The more you align your questions to the role, to the company, and to the interviewer, the more memorable you become. Okay. Now, let us work on how to close these some questions, the interviews rather with your questions. Okay. So here, the candidates, they need to end the interview with certainty. Okay, that they are the right person or right candidate for this job. Okay, it offers a step by step. This is what we are going to work in the image also. You can see here we are going to work on the step by step checklist of actions to take before walking into the room. Okay, now, first thing is ask all your questions. So before finishing, confirm that you have clarified everything you wanted to know. Very, very important. Okay, so you can say something like, may I ask a couple questions before we end the interview? Why it matters? It shows curiosity, preparation, and that you are seriously evaluating the role and the company as much as they are evaluating you. Okay. We have the reinforce the positive. Prepare a strong and what should I say? Prepare a very strong closing statement that summarizes your stability for the role. So, for example, you can say, based on our conversation today, I believe my background in project management and problem solving would be a great fit for this role. And I am excited about the possibility of contributing here. Okay, so this reminds the interviewer of your strengths just before they make their final impression about you. During the interview, have discussed about all your strengths, your weaknesses, everything you have discussed. Okay, but because of the conversation, or there might be different 4-5 rounds during the interview, so the interviewers, they tend to forget, because of course they're interviewing many other candidates also. But the last question or the last statement that you speak will make you stand out. Okay. Confirm any type of interviewer's concerns, reply to those concerns. So directly check if they have any doubts or clarifications they need from you. So you can ask something like, is there anything else you would like me to clarify about my experience or my skills? Okay. This gives you one last chance to clear any type of misinformation, misunderstandings, okay, or say some doubts, or here it will help you to reinforce your candidacy. Okay. Also show enthusiasm when you are about to finish the interview. Express excitement about both the job opportunity and the company's vision. So you can say something like this. Say, I am genuinely enthusiastic about this company's, about this opportunity and excited about the possibility of joining your team. Could you also share what next steps are there in the hiring process looks like? Okay, so employers want motivated people, not just the skilled ones. Yes, skilled people are very important, but yes, they are looking for the motivated people also. Okay, your genuine enthusiasm makes you very, very memorable. Okay, then last but not the least, thank the interviewer. End on a professional and warm note. Okay, thank them sincerely. Offer a firm handshake or a respectful gesture if it is in a virtual interview. Okay, and maintain confident eye contact. So this leaves a strong, respectful impression, showing your confidence and your courtesy. Okay, so recruiters are more likely to shortlist candidates who, who end interviews with a summary of why they are a good fit. Okay, cultural respect cues like polite gratitude, the professional body language. In India, it is very, very important. It weighs heavily in final impressions. Okay, candidates who fail to ask questions at the end will make them, more uninterested in the job or underprepared, or their lack of enthusiasm for that. So those interviewers or hiring managers would not like to accept such type of candidates who are not very enthusiastic, okay, who are not motivated to do the work. Okay, so closing an interview is not just about saying a goodbye. It's about sealing your case. A clear, confident closing ensures that interviewer leaves the room remembering your enthusiasm, your clarity, and your suitability for the role. Okay, so that is why this asking questions and making a bold statement at the end is very, very important for us. Okay, yes, so we are open for any doubts. If you have any doubts, you can please ask me.
No, not as such. Thank you, Mr.
No,
Malika.
no as such. Okay. So one last thing is, see, there are lots of very commonly asked questions during the interview. Okay. Like say something say, who do you why do you want this job? Why should we hire you? Okay. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Something like this. These are all behavioral questions. Okay. Or maybe sometimes situational questions. Okay, because companies are working on your soft skills and not just on your technical expertise. So usually what happens, there are 2 3 rounds in the interview. So first one is a telephonic round, second will be a HR round where they will work on your behavioral questions, then third might be a technical round where they will work on your technical skills. Okay, then fourth can be say a founder, where the founder of the company or some VP of the company is taking your interview. Okay, or there can be some fifth round also, depending on the requirement of the company. Okay, so now behavioral and situational questions are rising in every organization. They are working more on your soft skills. So that is why keep your ears open. Listen actively to what your interviewers are asking you. Okay, and accordingly, you can prepare some questions. That is very, very important. And in every round, there will be a question from the interviewer. Do you have any question for us? Every round. So for technical round, for HR round, the round with the maybe the some senior person, there also they will ask you this question. Any questions for us? Okay. So always prepare yourself for such type of questions. Right? And at the end, it is very important to give a short summary or ask, would you like to know what all, say, skills do I have for this, for this particular role? Or do you want me to answer something else for you, for any other clarification? This is very, very important to, to make yourself again show what skills you have, both technical and soft skills.
Shivalika,
Okay.
I have one
Yes.
question. Very
Yes,
common
please.
question. Every interview, it is being asked from years and years. But I still, wonder what should be the, perfect answer. Like, why should we hire you? Of course,
Yes.
we all possess more or less the same skills, experience we can talk about. But what basically it should include, because for us, like I'm from aviation background, so when I go for any role or something, yes, I have experience, I can talk about my skills, and I can talk about any project that I have done. But when people say why should we hire you in particular, more or less we have already discussed it in the entire interview session, wherein we were talking about our introduction, about
Yes.
work experience. So it is just like a summary of all of that. But I still wonder what should be the
Okay.
perfect answer to that. Why should we hire you?
Okay. Okay. So now for this question, Neha, if you, okay, I will answer it here anyhow. But if you go back to our previous sessions, this is a behavioral type of question, and we have already discussed about it, how to answer. But let me repeat it for you. Okay. So first thing is whenever you, and this is, you have to prepare this in advance during your homework. You have to prepare for these commonly asked questions. So if in that video also, we discussed about some commonly asked questions, okay, that you have to prepare before you go for the interview. So first, what you have to do here is match your strengths to the job JD, to the job description. Focus on 2 to 3 core skills of your experience that directly solve the company's needs, their requirements of why they are hiring you. In the JD, they might have written some requirements, some needs, okay, your roles and your responsibilities. Pick up 2 to 3 skills for which you can give some quantifiable result, that you have used these skills in your previous organization, and these are some results for that. Okay, show results, not just the duty. So highlight your achievements with measurable outcomes, quantifiable outcomes. Very important. So there was a technique that I discussed there, is the STAR method. Okay, STAR method is what? S is situation, T is task, A is action, and R is result. First is you will discuss about the situation. Okay, so for example, you can say that say you can talk about, I had this and this, there was this situation where we had to work on, I had a team of 4 members, okay, where we had to develop some prototype under, you can discuss about that prototype under some tight deadlines. Okay, so this is your situation. Then you will talk about the task. Okay, task means what did you do? Okay. So here you can say that I worked on some leadership or say some team management skills, and I worked on meeting the target. Okay, and I implemented this and this type of strategy, which which gave it a turnaround time of say 20% by implementing some agile practices. You can discuss about what all strategies or practices that you discussed. Okay, so here what you did, you worked on the result, that is 20% turnaround time. Action you took was strategies, implementing those strategies or whatever actions that you took. And the result was 20% turnaround time. Work on this to make your answer more and more structured and focused to the question why they should hire you. Okay, show some motivation, not just your qualification in that situation. Show that you were always motivated to work in such type of situation, and that you are looking to work on more and more challenging situations like this. This is how you are going to answer to the question why they should hire you. So first is work on 2 to 3 core skills that you are very much confident about, and for which you can show some results, not just your achievements. Show some outcomes, actionable outcomes. Okay, to give it a structured answer, use a star method, where star is situation, T is task, A is action, and R is result. And with that, the closing line will be that you're looking forward to, or you would love to experiment yourself or love to innovate more and more in such type of situations. Clear now?
Yes. And one more thing, I took time in login, so maybe I've missed out the video. I've not seen the video on this.
Mhm. Okay, this was basically, uh, this was which video? If you go, you can check fourth module. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, the fourth module is handling behavior questions. So we discussed about this. So every Tuesday, we have one module to discuss. So we
Okay.
are here on the 9th one. Next Tuesday, we will discuss about the online interviews best practices, because online there are now, you might get an opportunity to work, if you're in India, remote opportunity to work for some other companies which are outside India. Okay, so that time, these type of practices that we will discuss, they will help you a lot.
Okay. And this module, what is the name of this module?
This interview,
The
this is
entire.
okay, this is interview preparation module.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine.
Okay, yes. Any other question?
Thank you so much. I'll go through it.
No?
And then
Okay,
maybe if I
sure.
have a question, I'll ask you.
Sure, definitely. Okay, then, if there are no more questions for this, so next Tuesday, same time, 3 to 4 p.m., we are going to discuss about working on your virtual interviews. Okay, so there are
All
some
right.
body languages, some type of questions, how you need to work on your camera and your when you need to join the link. So we are going to work on all those things. Okay.
Sure.
Okay then. Bye bye. Take
Thank you.
care.
Thank you
Have a
so
good
much.
day.
Have a nice day.
Welcome. Bye
Bye.
bye.